All right, so yesterday we covered chapters 1 to 3, and we left off with the rebuilding of the wall, right? They started rebuilding the wall. And give me 1 second, actually. Okay. So they started rebuilding the wall, and today we're continuing with the building of the wall. We're continuing with the building of the wall, and it looks like they're going to be facing some adversity while they're building. So let's see how things goes.
But it so happened when Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, that he was furious and very indignant, and mocked the Jews. And he spoke before his brethren and the army of Samaria.
What are these feeble Jews doing? Will they fortify themselves? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they complete it in a day? Will they revive the stones from the heaps of rubbish, stones that are burned?
Now Tobiah the Ammonite was beside him.
Whatever they build, if even a fox goes up on it, he will break down their stone wall.
Hear, O our God, for we are despised. Turn their reproach on their own heads, and give them as plunder to a land of captivity. Do not cover their iniquity, and do not let their sin be blotted out from before you. For they have provoked you to anger before the builders.
So we built the wall, and the entire wall was joined together up to half its height, for the people had a mind to work.
Okay.
Now it happened.
So they're working horizontally. They're getting the wall. I mean, that makes sense, right? For defensive purposes. So you're protected on all fronts, even though it's not all the way up, instead of, I feel like, that'd probably be the easiest way. So they're not doing it. Looks like they're not doing it in sections. They're just going. So we built the wall. The entire wall was joined together up to half its height, for the people had a mind to work. So, they might have still built it in sections, but the work was to get half of it. Looks like they aimed to get half of it done throughout the entire course of the wall. So, I mean, I feel like that does make sense. Or you could think of it like, do you think if they did it in sections, you could have people pass through to the other side of the wall and work on it from both sides? But I guess because they're defending from people, that's probably why they did this. They probably did this on purpose, knowing that, okay, maybe we might face some adversity. This wall is here to protect us, and so that should be the focus as we're building as well, not just the construction. So that makes sense, actually.
So we built the wall, and the entire wall was joined together up to half its height, for the people had a mind to work. Now it happened when Sanballat, Tobiah, the Arabs, the Ammonites, and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were being restored and the gaps were beginning to be closed, that they became very angry. And all of them conspired together to come and attack Jerusalem and create confusion. Nevertheless, we made our prayer to our...
This is their only chance, right? Their window of opportunity is literally being closed.
Confusion. Nevertheless, we made our prayer to our God, and because of them we set a watch against them day and night. Then Judah said,
The strength of the laborers is failing, and there is so much rubbish that we are not able to build the wall.
And our adversaries said,
They will neither know nor see anything till we come into their midst and kill them and cause the work to cease.
So it was, when the Jews who dwelt near them came, that they told us 10 times,
From whatever place you turn, they will be upon us.
Therefore I positioned men behind the lower parts of the wall, at the openings, and I set the people according to their families, with their swords, their spears, and their bows. And I looked, and arose and said to the nobles, to the leaders, and to the rest of the people,
Do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, great and awesome, and fight for your brethren, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses.
And it happened when our enemies heard that it was known to us, and that God had brought their plot to nothing, that all of us returned to the wall, everyone to his work. So it was, from that time on, that half of my servants worked at construction, while the other half held the spears, the shields, the bows, and wore
That's
armor.
crazy.
And the leaders were behind all the house of Judah.
Imagine you're like essentially like fighting a battle while building your defenses. You're building the wall to defend yourself while you're fighting. That's crazy.
Those who built on the wall, and those who carried burdens, loaded themselves so that with one hand they worked at construction, and with the other held a weapon. Every one of the builders had his sword girded at his side as he built, and the one who sounded the trumpet was beside me. Then I said to the nobles, the rulers, and the rest of the people, "The work is great and extensive, and we are separated far from one another on the wall. Wherever you hear the sound of the trumpet, rally to us there. Our God will fight for us." So we labored in the work, and half of the men held the spears from daybreak until the stars appeared. At the same time I also said to the people, "Let each man and his servant stay at night in Jerusalem, that they may be our guard by night and a working party by day." So neither I, my brethren, my servants, nor the men of the guard who followed me took off our clothes, except that everyone took them off for washing.
They were always ever ready.
And there was a great outcry of the people and their wives against their Jewish brethren.
We, our sons and our daughters are many. Therefore let us get grain, that we may eat
I bet they were
and
really
live.
worn out building and fighting. Even if there was nobody there to, like, at the moment, having like a sword in one hand or a spear in one hand while working in the other, that's a lot. Or even if they had their sword sheathed, that you're carrying that extra weight around all day while you're working construction. That's a lot.
Jewish brethren.
We, our sons and our daughters are many. Therefore let us get grain, that we may eat and live.
We have mortgaged our lands and vineyards and houses that we might buy grain because of the famine.
We have borrowed money for the king's tax on our lands and vineyards. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, our children as their children. And indeed, we are forcing our sons and daughters to be...
They didn't even say that they slept or rotated shifts to sleep. I think they did right at the end there. So we labored in the work, and half of the men held the spears from daybreak until the stars appeared. At the same time, I also said to the people, "Let each man and his servant stay at night in Jerusalem, that they may be our guard by night and a working party by day." So they had one working party by day, and some that guarded at night, right? And then you also see here, it said half of the men held the spears from daybreak until the stars appeared. So then you can assume that the other half, did it in the other half of the day or the night. So they did. Looks like they did rotate shifts.
Outcry of the people and their wives against their Jewish brethren.
Therefore let us get grain, that we may eat and live.
Because of the famine.
We have borrowed money for the king's tax on our lands and vineyards. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, our children as their children. And indeed, we are forcing our sons and daughters to be slaves. And some of our daughters have been brought into slavery. It is not in our power to redeem them, for other men have our lands and vineyards.
And I became very angry when I heard their outcry and these words. After serious thought, I rebuked the nobles and rulers and said to them, "Each of you is exacting usury from his brother." So I called a great assembly against them. And I said to them,
One second. Let me read this here real quick because I want to know exactly what it means. Like, why don't they own? Why? Right? Where does it say it? For other men have our lands and vineyards. The people had mortgaged their houses. The people had mortgaged their lands and vineyards and houses. They had borrowed money and even had sold their sons and daughters into slavery. From this perspective of the law, there were two problems here: usury, lending money and charging interest, and slavery. It was wrong for a Jewish person to lend money with interest to a non-Jewish person. Nor was it It was not wrong for a Jewish person to lend money with interest to a non-Jewish person. Nor was it wrong for a Jewish person to lend money to a fellow Jew. However, the law did prohibit usury. Also, a Jewish person could hire himself out to someone, but not as a slave. What does usury mean? Let's look it up. Usury, the practice of lending money and charging the borrower interest, especially at an exorbitant or illegal high rate. So you couldn't do it to your fellow brethren, to your fellow Jew. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what it says. The people's basic problem is pinpointed in the words against their Jewish brethren. The people were not complaining merely about the poverty and high taxes. They were grumbling about each other. The people in verse 1, the people refers to the poor. The brethren refers to the rich rulers. So that's what and there was an outcry of the people, and so the masses, the poor masses, and their wives against their Jewish brethren. For there were those who said, "We, our sons and our daughters are many. Therefore, let us get grain that we may eat and live." So basically, the poor, it's not balanced, right? You have like a lower class and an upper class, and the poor, they want food for themselves, and they've already mortgaged their lands and their houses and their vineyards due to the famine, so they don't have any money. And they borrowed money for the king's tax. So, yeah, they have nothing. They're struggling.
"According to our ability, we have redeemed our Jewish brethren who were sold to the nations. Now, indeed, will you even sell your brethren? Or should they be sold to us?" Then they were
getting
silent
desperate
and found nothing to say. Then I said, "What you are doing is not good. Should you not walk in the fear of our God because of the reproach of the nations, our enemies? I also, with my brethren and my servants, am lending them money and grain. Please let us stop this usury. Restore now to them, even this day, their lands, their vineyards, their olive groves, and their houses. Also 100th of the money and the grain, the new wine and the oil that you have charged them." So they said,
"We will restore it, and will require nothing from them. We will do as you say."
Then I called the priests and required an oath from them that they would do according to this promise. Then I shook out the fold of my garment and said, "So may God shake out each man from his house and from his property who does not perform this promise. Even thus may he be shaken out and emptied." And all the assembly said, and praised the Lord. Then the people did according to this promise. Moreover, from the time that I was appointed to be their governor in the land of Judah, from the 20th year until the 32nd year of King Artaxerxes. 12 years, neither I nor my brothers ate the governor's provisions. But the former governors who were before me laid burdens on the people, and took from them bread and wine, besides 40 shekels of silver. Yes, even their servants bore rule over the people. But I did not do so, because of the fear of God. Indeed, I also continued the work on this wall, and we did not buy any land. All my servants were gathered there for the work, and at my table were 150 Jews and rulers, besides those who came to us from the nations around us. Now that which was prepared daily was 1 ox and 6 choice sheep. Also fowl were prepared for me, and once every 10 days an abundance of all kinds of wine. Yet in spite of this I did not demand the governor's provisions, because the bondage was heavy on this people. Remember me, my God, for good, according to all that I have done for this people.
That's sort of odd to say. Right? That's sort of odd to say. Yeah. Because if, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, you don't do good to be remembered. You do good just because that's a good thing to do. Not for the blessings God. Yeah, you're not doing good in order for God to bless you. You're just doing good. So it's odd to say, remember me, my God, for good, according to all that I've done for this people. Yeah, that's a little odd.
Now it happened when Sanballat, Tobiah, Geshem the Arab, and the rest of our enemies heard that I had
I pause 1 second. I want to read this here real quick about chapter 5. Several former governors had paid their own expenses with the people's taxes. Let me just go back to the text so you can see what we're talking about.
in abundance.
Chapter 15. But former governors who were before me laid burdens on the people, and they took from them bread and wine, besides 40 shekels of silver. Yes, even their servants bore rule over the people, but I did not do so because of the fear of God. Indeed, I also continued the work of this wall, and we did not buy any land. All my servants were gathered there for the work. So Nehemiah is like comparing himself to the other governors. He's saying, well, we can go to 14. During his 12-year administration, Nehemiah did not collect taxes from the people, although as governor he had the right, as we saw the other governors do. Several former governors had paid their own expenses with the people's taxes, laid burdens. The former governors had made life difficult for the people. Rule here indicates an arbitrary, oppressive rule, the abuse of power through extortion. Nehemiah had not acquired mortgages on land. As governor, he could easily have acquired real estate and sold it at great profit. But instead of making money for themselves, Nehemiah and his servants worked on the wall of Jerusalem for the protection of the people and the glory of God. I still find it odd that he needed to point it out, that that he did do that. I mean, good on you for doing it.
Now it happened when Sanballat, Tobiah, Geshem the Arab, and the rest of our enemies heard that I had rebuilt the wall, and that there were no breaks left in it, though at that time I had not hung the doors and the gates, that Sanballat and Geshem sent to me.
Come, let us meet together among the villages in the plain of Ono.
But they thought to do me harm. So I sent messengers to them, saying, I am doing a great work, so that I cannot come down. Why should the work cease while I leave it and go down to you? But they sent me this message 4 times, and I answered them in the same manner. Then Sanballat sent his servant to me as before, the 5th time, with an open letter in his hand. In it was written,
It is reported among the nations, and Geshem says, that you and the Jews plan to rebel. Therefore, according to these rumors, you are rebuilding the wall that you may be their king. And you have also appointed prophets to proclaim concerning you at Jerusalem, saying, There is a king in Judah. Now these matters will be reported to the king. So come, therefore, and let us consult together.
Then I sent to him, saying, No such things as you say are being done.
Yeah.
But you invent them in your own heart. For they all
this
were
is a
trying to
conspiracy.
make us afraid, saying, Their hands will be weakened in the work, and it will not be done. Now therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. Afterward I came to the house of Shemaiah, the son of Delaiah, the son of Mehetabel, who was a secret informer.
A secret informer.
Let us meet together in the house of God within the temple, and let us close the doors of the temple, for they are coming to kill you. Indeed, at night they will come to kill you.
And I said, Should such a man as I flee? And who is there such as I who would go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in. Then I perceived that God had not sent him at all, but that he pronounced this prophecy against me because Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. For this reason he was hired, that I should be afraid and act that way and sin, so that they might have cause for
Okay,
an
this is
evil
really a
report,
conspiracy.
that they might reproach me.
Let's read what this Bible's got to say about this. Chapter 6. Nehemiah's enemies, realizing that open opposition had not worked and that the wall was close to being finished, suggested a conference. The plain of Ono was about 20 miles northwest of Jerusalem. Somehow, perhaps, by a... Whoa, this mic. Somehow, perhaps, by a word from the Lord, Nehemiah was warned of an enemy of his enemy's intent. The evidence that was used to accuse Nehemiah of rebellion was the assertion that prophets were proclaiming Nehemiah to be king. Zechariah had prophesied that a king was coming. With all the, and we haven't seen that, we'll see that in Zechariah 9:9. With all the activity of the rebuilding of the wall, people were probably talking about what Zechariah had said. Nehemiah, right, because Nehemiah is acting as governor, and, you know, he's in charge of all this. So, and if Zechariah is prophesying a king, it's not far-fetched to think like, okay, Nehemiah probably will be that guy. Nehemiah's enemies threatened to take the matter to the king of Persia. They used this threat, and remember, the king of Persia is the one that even allowed Nehemiah to do this. So this is going to look really bad. They used this threat as leverage to force Nehemiah to attend their proposed meeting, although they had no real intention of going to the king. They hoped their threats would ruin Nehemiah's reputation so that the workers would lose their resolve. Nehemiah would not allow himself to get sidetracked. Instead, he committed his enemies' accusations to the Lord. And we'll see that in Psalms 31:13 and 14. His enemies wanted to weaken his hand, so he prayed for the Lord to strengthen him. See, a lot of times when we face this mic, man, a lot of times when we face issues, we try and figure them out on our own. But Nehemiah went straight to God, so that's something we should also try and replicate. Evidently, Shemaiah was a priest. When Nehemiah visited him, Shemaiah proposed that they enter the holy place to be safe from assassins. And Nehemiah was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Shemaiah's suggestion was for Nehemiah to flee into the sanctuary. It was lawful for an Israelite to seek refuge at the altar outside the temple, but only a priest could enter the holy place. Nehemiah's enemies were subtly tempting him. If they could trap him in sin, they could discredit him and the work. Then the people would cease to follow him, and the work on the wall would stop. So they're going about this roundabout way of trying to frame him, ruin his reputation, and in an attempt to stop the building of the wall. Come on, man.
They might have cause for an evil report, that they might reproach me. My God, remember Tobiah and Sanballat, according to these their works, and the prophetess Noadiah, and the rest of the prophets who would have made me afraid. So the wall was finished on the 25th day of Elul, in 52 days. And it happened, when all our enemies heard of it.
Elul. What month is Elul in our calendar? The month of Elul is the 6th month of the Jewish year. But what would that be for our year? Is the 6th month of the Jewish year the same as the 6th month for our year? The month of Elul. Let's say this one's saying the last month of the year. The reason why I looked it up is because it said the 25th month. So I was curious, what if it's December? That'll be interesting. And this one is saying that it's the Elul is the 6th month of the year, counting from Nisan. The first month counting from Tishrei. And it's saying Elul is the 12th and last month in the year. What? How can it be the 6th month? Nisan apparently I think is the first month. So it's the 6th month of the year. So how is it the 12th month and 12th and the last month in the year? What? If you guys know in the comments anything about the Jewish months, let me know. Tammy, do you know anything about the Jewish calendar? Or we can just look up the Hebrew calendar, I guess. Does the Hebrew calendar... Okay, so... The 6th month. So why did that article say the 12th? So Nisan is about our March, April, and Elul would be somewhere September, August. Is that how it works? This is interesting. I would like to look into this more. Yeah, it's confusing. But it's interesting, though.
Day of Elul, in 52 days. And it happened, when all our enemies heard of it, and all the nations around us saw these things, that they were very disheartened in their own eyes, for they perceived that this work was done by our God. Also, in those days the nobles of Judah sent many letters to Tobiah, and the letters of Tobiah came to them. For many in Judah were pledged to him, because he was the son-in-law of Shechaniah, the son of Arah, and his son Jehohanan had married the daughter of Meshullam, the son of Berechiah. Also they reported his good deeds before me, and reported my words to him. Tobiah sent letters to frighten me.
Nehemiah seems like an emotional kind of...
But it so happened, when Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, that he was furious and very indignant,
or
and
dramatic,
mocked the Jews.
or I don't know, just the way he wanted to be recognized for the good he did, and then the last thing we just read there, I don't know, he's giving me like a vibe of like an emotional type person.
And he spoke before his brethren and the army of Samaria.
What are these feeble Jews doing? Will they fortify themselves? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they complete it in a day? Will they revive the stones from the heaps of rubbish, stones that are burned?
Now Tobiah the Ammonite was beside him.
Whatever they build, if even a fox goes up on it, he will break down.
Why we jump to 4? What's going on here? We need to go to 7.
Then it was, when the wall was built and I had hung the doors, when the gatekeepers, the singers, and the Levites had been appointed, that I gave the charge of Jerusalem to my brother Hanani, and Hananiah, the leader of the citadel, for he was a faithful man and feared God more than many. And I said
So what
to
did
them,
Nehemiah do?
Do
after?
not let the gates of Jerusalem be opened until the sun is hot. And while they stand guard, let them shut and bar the doors, and appoint guards from among the inhabitants of Jerusalem, one at his watch station and another in front of his own house. Now the city was large and spacious, but the people in it were few, and the houses were not rebuilt. Then my God put it into my heart to gather the nobles, the rulers, and the people, that they might be registered by genealogy. And I found a register of the genealogy of those who had come up in the first return, and found written in it, These are the people of the province who came back from the captivity, of those who had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away, and who returned to Jerusalem and Judah, everyone to his city. Those who came with Zerubbabel were Jeshua, Nehemiah, Azariah, Raamah, Nehemiah, Mordecai, Bilshan, Mispera, Bigvai, Nehum, and Baanah. The number of the men of the people of Israel, the sons of Parosh, 2,172. The sons of Shephatiah, 372. The sons of Arah, 652. The sons of Pahath-Moab, of the sons of Jeshua and Joab, 2,818. The sons of Elam, 1,254. The sons of Zatu, 845. The sons of Zakkai, 760.
Notice how he started this whole thing off. He said, Then my God put it into my heart to gather the nobles, the rulers, and the people, that they might be registered by genealogy. And I found a register of the genealogy of those who had come up in the first return, and found written in it, blah, 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 blah. But the idea of creating a register of all the people, somewhat like a census, right, came from God. Remember when David did it on his own? With it not coming from God, it was considered a sin, probably because of you don't want to think, you don't want to, like, measure, like, hey, look, this is the amount of people that I'm ruling over. Like, you're ruling for the people. You're not ruling you know what I mean? The focus shouldn't be like, hey, look, I'm ruling over all these people. I'm so great, right? You're doing an act of service, and that's why God didn't want kings to do a census, or do anybody to do a census over their people on their own, not without God's approval. Because I guess they probably were tempted to do a census back in the day, just to see, like, hey, look, I just want to know, how big is my kingdom? How great of a king am I, So Nehemiah made it a point to note that God put this in his heart.
The sons of Binnui, 648. The sons of Bebai, 628. The sons of Azgad, 2,322. The sons of Adonikam, 667. The sons of Bigvai, 2,067. The sons of Adin, 655. The sons of Ater of Hezekiah, 98. The sons of Hashem, 328. The sons of Bezai, 324. The sons of Hariph, 112. The sons of Gibeon, 95. The men of Bethlehem and of Netophah, 188. The men of Anathoth, 128. The men of Beth Azmaveth, 42. The men of Kirjath Jehoram, Kephirah, and Beereth, 743. The men of Ramah and Geba, 621. The men of Michmas, 122. The men of Bethel and Ai, 123. The men of the other Nebo, 52. The sons of the other Elam, 1,254. The sons of Harim, 320. The sons of Jericho, 345. The sons of Lod, Hadid, and Ono, 721.
Oh no.
The sons of Sineah, 3,930. The priests, the sons of Jedediah, of the house of Jeshua, 973. The sons of Immer, 1,052. The sons of Pashur, 1,247. The sons of Harim, 1,017. The Levites, the sons of Jeshua, of Kadmiel, and of the sons of Hodiva, 74. The singers, the sons of Asaph, 148. The gatekeepers, the sons of Shallum,
And singers,
the sons
gatekeepers
of
should be
Ater,
Levites
the sons
as well.
of Talmon, the sons of Akab, the sons of Hatita, the sons of Shobai, 138. The Nethanim, the sons of Ziha, the sons of Hasupha, the sons of Tabaoth, the sons of Kirez,
Yeah, he's doing, the narrator's doing a good job.
Saya, the sons of Padan, the sons of Lebana, the sons of Hagabah, the sons of Salmai, the sons of Hanan,
It's a lot of names.
the sons
yeah.
of Giddel,
And this is a register that
the
Nehemiah
sons
just
of Gahar,
found, right? This is not
the sons
him,
of Rehiah, the sons of Rezin,
him taking an account.
the sons of Nekoda, the sons of Gazam, the sons of Uzzah, the sons of Paseah, the sons of Besai, the sons of Meunim, the sons of Nephishtim, the sons of Babuk, the sons of Hakupha, the sons of Harhur, the sons of Bazlith, the sons of Mahida, the sons of Harsha, the sons of Barkaz, the sons of Sisera, the sons of Tema, the sons of Neziah, and the sons of Hatipha, the sons of Solomon's servants, the sons of Sotai, the sons of Sapphirath, the sons of Perida,
The music is really helping with
the sons of Jaela, the sons of Darkon, the sons of
Darkon.
Giddel, the sons of Shephatiah, the sons of Hattel, the sons of Pachereth, of Zebaim,
Almost there.
and the sons of Ammon. All the
There we
Nethinim
go.
and the sons of Solomon's servants were 392. And these were the ones who came up from Tel Melah, Tel Harsha, Cherub, Adon, and Immer. But they could not identify their father's house nor their lineage, whether they were of Israel. The sons of Delaiah, the sons of Tobiah, the sons of Nekoda, 642. And of the priests, the sons of Habiah, the sons of Kaz, the sons of Barzillai, who took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai, the Gileadite, and was called by their name. These sought their listing among those who were registered by genealogy, but it was not found. Therefore they were excluded from the priesthood as defiled.
Yeah, because they couldn't be for
And
they
the
couldn't be
governor said
sure.
to them that they should not eat of the most holy things till a priest could consult with the Urim and Thummim. Altogether, the whole assembly
think
was
anybody did, right? As we talked about.
42,360, besides
talked
their
about
male and
before.
female servants, of whom
Yeah, the
there were
music is nice.
7,337. and they had 245.
Altogether, the whole assembly was 42,360. Besides their male and female servants, whom there were 7,300. So numbers are dwindling, man. Compared to how we started way back.
5 men and women singers. Their horses were 736. Their mules, 245. Their camels, 435. And donkeys, 6,720.
Took an account of the animals.
And some of the heads of the fathers' houses gave to the work. The governor gave to the treasury 1,000 gold drachmas, 50 basins, and 530 priestly garments. Some of the heads of the fathers' houses gave to the treasury of the work 20,000 gold drachmas, and 2,200 silver minas. And that which the rest of the people gave was 20,000 gold drachmas, 2,000 silver minas, and 67 priestly garments. So the priests, the Levites, the gatekeepers, the singers, some of the people, the Nethinim, and all Israel dwelt in their cities. When the 7th month came, the children of Israel were in their cities.
That's it. That's kind of odd. Like, this subheading is just for this one sentence. How is that? Let me look in my Bible. Oh, no. Yeah, but that one sentence is part of that subheading, but it's part of chapter 7. And Ezra reads the law in chapter 8. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. We just finished chapter 7, Nehemiah 4-7. And tomorrow we'll jump into chapter 8, where Ezra is going to read the law. And, okay, so this is how it's going to go. Ezra is going to read the law. Chapter 9 is going to be about the people confess their sins. So it looks like the people are going to recognize all the things they've done wrong after hearing the law. Then they're going to confess and come back to the Lord, just like what happened earlier. Hopefully they don't fall again. But we'll see. All right, that's going to be it for today. So is this keeping track of your charity? Whose charity? My charity? What do you mean? Are you talking about them keeping track? Because they counted the treasury? It looks like they took an account for they had a register for this. Register contained everything: animals, the stock of the treasury. What do you mean? You mean why did they take this account? I think just to keep a record. They've been doing this. They did this. They took accounts in Ezra. They've been doing this ever since the children of Israel were the children of Israel. They had a unified body. One heading for one sentence. That's weird. No. It's the heading is going to be as part of chapter 8 as well. It's just that this last sentence of chapter 7 was included in the heading. So you'll see, like when we start chapter 8, that's still under this same heading. So yeah. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow we'll jump into chapter 8. Hope you enjoyed today's reading. And thank you, Tammy, for sticking around all the way to the end and taking part in the chat. I'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.